Hello, I'm Sora Luxon, and this is Tarot card Queen of Pentacles, Our Lady who sits the throne of Earth, from the 20th degree of Sagittarius to the 20th degree Capricorn. This dark-haired beauty rules the earthly plane. The Water of Earth card. She has a huge heart and is always intelligent, often also charming like a babbling brook, and she speaks of those same qualities to the querent. Like all the queens, she is a force of the mother, of He, and so has the established weight of that throne, that heavy rock throne, which is her suit. In the case of this card, that suit of the great material forces of earth. You can see the mix of sandy ground with both rock and green beneath her, yellows and other colors, a firm rooting to all that manifests the material plane. Remember though, all of the queens sit with a posture somewhat more peaceful than their counterpart kings, because it is the queens who take in the king's force to then generate from, to develop those energies before they become fully realized. The masculine in magic projects, the feminine absorbs and makes ready. So armor here, yes, she wears some, but the Queen of Earth is more enduring, though less rapid than her king is. She is a steady force, but very connected to Malkuth after all, which keeps her card dark, not just in the Rider-Waite tarot, but in most tarots, you're going to see that some of her land is barren and cold, a reflection of a realm that is not fully realized into light. Notice how her body is turned both into and out of the direct light of the viewer. Her front face is, and her face does not. In other tarot decks, this is sometimes even more obviously symbolized by her being black and white, or being half black with the other side painted white, or an outlining of polarizing opposites to that effect. Because here on the manifested plane, there is both a light and dark side to the force of earth energies. And if you're going to bring forward that goat, you have to acknowledge the dark side of the force. The goat and the rabbit here are her steady companions. Very often, she will wear the ancient winged goat's head crown or carry its emblem upon her person. Sometimes in a deck, there will actually be a goat on this card. And she carries not only the golden orb, that royal sphere, but also is usually depicted with the primer golden cube as well, sometimes called the cube of Metatron, the cube of Earth, that gold, 24 carats, standing for God, the cube itself, that great symbol of Earth where all 14 pyramids would fit within it. So ends always meet for those with earth magic qualities. This is a powerful card. This is an individual who does well not only with connection in the home and in relationships with all those motherly forces, but also with pursuits such as commercial enterprise or entrepreneurism. So not a homebody by any means. The Queen of Gnomes is actually of many moods, and she advises us of the same, of being kind and truthful, but also somewhat changeably sad and less than courageous, timid. I've heard people describe the Earth Queen as fruitful and prosperous and go on about her abundance, usually because of those flowers, the roses, or her rabbit. And as a card of movement as well, like very fast movement because of all the life shown here, again, that vibrant roses and jumping bunnies are often shown. But remember, within the ancient arcane, the rabbit stood not only for fertility and speed, but that warning of how being overly abundant leads to starvation and death. And portrayed at the lower left-hand path where this rabbit is portrayed, that also speaks to the deeper hidden implications of emotional swiftness, not just physical swiftness. So changeable emotions as a spring storm or Mercury's winged slippers. Chasing achievement may be the way of the hare, But looking before you leap can often save your hide. And that queen does this. She looks. The goat, as well, is a bastion of Earth's truer nature, which is not always light, shiny, happy fecundity. Notice the cold, empty, snow-covered peaks behind her, those blue mountains. The material is not all there is. So to be present with it is to be present with less than all that is. And to be present as well with the vagaries and constant, implacable changeableness of the manifested material realities. Change is the greatest truth. So the Queen of Earth is a card of connectivity, yes, but she is just as connected to the dry and barren, the sandy beneath her feet, the cold peaks behind her, as the bright and the flowering and the life in the foreground. Her face isn't even lifting to us. This isn't a shining smile we're being shown. It's bowed, either to the weight of her mantle, perhaps, or in a very real awareness of her intrinsic reliance, connection to that which she holds, that earth pentacle. The individual this card advises us of is generous and usually very liberal, someone who generates and then shares their success in unity with those around them. Also someone who tends to be, fairly independent at generating, but then very good at sharing, someone creative. So what to do with the Queen of Pentacles? Remember, love is a wonderful spur of mutualism. So as you grow and manifest things like material wealth, bear in mind always the larger, deeper truths. They'll help balance what would otherwise become an overflowing of vines choking you, of success. That is, in the end, always only ever meaningful on this specific earthly plane. Cultivate your real garden by cultivating love. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. Here, that timidity of the Queen of Earth becomes ill-favored indecision, a gross incapacity to be decisive about much of anything, not just wishy-washy, not just someone who can't make up their mind, but someone who literally won't make a choice. And charming impetuosity bloats into, outright harmful capriciousness, sudden moves, foolishness that no one can rely on, bad choices that are as much a disfavor to the querent as to those around them. It isn't good to be so changeable all the time that nothing you ever say or do can be followed through upon at all. That's mania, manic, chaos. Words like self-entitled, unwarranted elitism, snooty, high maintenance, wasteful, all come with the Queen of Earth in her reversal, in her reversed form. Rather than creative and productive, leading to generosity and kindness, there is instead here an overabundance of unnecessary gains that aren't being used fully or well, unearned resource assumed and then used poorly rather than held with appreciation and shared. Usually we're being advised of someone super lazy here, or perhaps even super negligent. That person in a room who can't be trusted to do anything they say they will, or they'll never follow through on any favor or responsibility they're ever given. They think they have it all, so they think they're above it all. More often than not, this could be someone that they believe by not caring somehow that wins them status points or makes them better. The person who struts around thinking the world owes them something, or that they're somehow always the victim and don't have enough. And don't be afraid to take a good hard look in the mirror here, which can be difficult. If this card is speaking to you about you, It's better to get a handle on it now than avoid it forever. People might be looking at you and forming the opinion that you can't be expected to do anything you're expected to do. And that hinders not only wonderful, mutually beneficial opportunities and relationships for you because people are perceiving you that way, it also limits your roles in the workplace and family or friend structures around you. So, and then worse than all of that, even more perhaps, is that it hinders what the universe will offer. If you're walking around all day giving off the vibration, the energetic message of, I have it all, or don't expect anything of me, then nothing more will manifest and no action will ever be presented for you to take. That's very, extremely, very self-limiting. Focusing on the material here also manifests negatively into personality traits like greed and not taking good care of oneself or your surroundings, those around you. So what to do if you pull the Queen of Pentacles reversed? Well, it's time to release some of that resentment that you're carrying if the card is speaking to you of you. You aren't nearly as deprived as you may think you are. It's time to realize that your wants are effects and choices of your own actions or inaction, as the case may be, and no one's responsibility but your own. If the card is advising of someone within your sphere, know that someone near you is likely doing things like taking credit for your work. Maybe you worked really hard on a project, why they themselves did nothing at all, but they're at the office right now talking about how they did everything to your boss. So stuff like that. Or that someone near you is very untrustworthy, undependable. And although it may come across as childish fickleness, in the end, it's going to cause very real harm. So don't put up with it. Place healthy boundaries in your relationships, be they friendly or formal, where responsibility and trust given is dependent on responsibility and trust returned in kind. And the same is true for yourself as well. If you want others to trust and have you take responsibility, then you have to show that you're capable of that. And then also, maybe allow for the guidance of the wise around you. You might be ignoring them, and they'll help you avoid mistakes if you let them. Until next time.